We are going to talk about today the thing you don't need when you declutter, that pretty much every other person who's going to teach you how to declutter is going to tell you you do need. And I'm going to say you don't need it. In fact, not only do you not need it, you actually need to not have it. And that is a keep box. Yeah, we don't need a keep box. That was dumb, but whatever. Anyway, you don't need a keep box. Keep boxes are in every piece of clip art or whatever they're called now, stock photos about decluttering. They always have a keep box. Y'all, my entire decluttering process is based around not having a keep box. Like the absence of a keep box is as important as the supplies that you do need. The supplies you do need are your feet to take things where they go right now, a black trash bag, okay, to put the trash in, recycling bin as well if you have one, and a donatable donate box. You don't need a keep box. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, is why you don't need a keep box, why you actually need to not have a keep box, okay? Y'all, if you're watching this when it first comes out, my book, Organizing for the Rest of Us, comes out on Tuesday. You can still get your pre-order bonuses, a decluttering flowchart that is printable. Just go to aslobcomesclean.com/pre-order, put in your order information and grab it. Okay, so let's talk about why a keep box is more harm than good. The number one reason, you don't need it. You have no need for a keep box when you use my decluttering process, which is all about going item by item, making final decision by final decision, and acting on every decision as you make it, okay? An item is either trash, and it goes in the trash bag or the recycling bin, or it's a donation, and it goes in the donatable donate box, which is its final destination. It's gonna leave the house inside that box, or it goes to its home, okay? The 2 decluttering questions let you figure out anything that you don't know where it goes, anything you don't know if you should keep it. The 2 decluttering questions help you know where it goes and if you should have it in your house, okay? When you answer that first decluttering question, if I needed this item, where would I look for it first? You take it there right now. That's the whole secret to the progress and only progress method that we're doing here, okay? That means everything that comes out of a space that you are working on, you make a final decision and you act on that decision. You don't need a keep box. You don't need a box to put things in for later when then you're going to act on that decision. Go ahead and act on that decision. Take it there now, and there's no need for a keep box, okay? The number 2 reason goes along with that and probably answers some of the questions that you were having as I was saying all of that, and that is a final decision is easier when it's a forced decision, okay? I don't love making decisions. Decisions are not fun to make. Final decisions are easier when they're forced decisions, okay? Not having a keep box means I have to make a final decision. I don't have anywhere to put something without having decided where it's going to go, without having acted on that, okay? Here's the problem. If I have a keep box and I'm not actually taking something to the place where I would look for it first right now, it is way too easy to think, I don't really know right now, but I do know that I want it. And so I'm going to stick it in here because then later when I go through this box, then I'll know. I mean, I have no idea now, but later, future me, oh, she's going to have it all together. She's going to know what to do. And so it's really easy to just put something in the keep box without having actually answered the decluttering questions, okay? And the decluttering questions are the way that I establish the home for things, okay? And if I take it there now, it is in its home is real, it's legit, it's actual, because I may get to that place and realize, oh, there's no space for it, which means I'm either going to take something out to make the space for it, or I'm going to realize, oh yeah, actually, this thing doesn't deserve space in here over the things that are already in there. And then I decide, oh, it actually can go in the donate box. See what I'm saying? So it's forcing that final decision to not have a keep box. Y'all, I did a video several back, called it a doom box because that's a trendy term. Some people said it means don't organize, only moved, or didn't organize, only moved. It's not my term. Y'all, I just call those keep boxes. I mean, the one that I decluttered that was probably 14 years old that I had found when we moved, it was an old keep box. It was a box that I had just put stuff in because I wanted it. Well, I want everything because I liked it. Well, I like everything, okay? Like if that's the question, well, then I'm going to keep it all. So I can't ask myself that question. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just going to say, yeah, I want to keep this. And so I stick it in a box. Then it's just a box of random stuff that I'm going to have to deal with later that's hanging over my head, okay? Instead, I ask myself, where would I look for this first? And I take it there right now, and that is its home, okay? So by not having a keep box, not having an in-between place, not having a procrastination station, I force myself to go ahead and actually make those final decisions. You see what I'm saying? And a final decision, it feels like, oh, am I going to make a final decision? Y'all, nothing's a final decision. You can always go back through spaces, whatever. But by saying this is a final decision, then that means it's going to be over. And I don't have to think about it anymore because it has a home established by the first decluttering question. Where would I look for this first if I needed this item? Okay. My third reason why you don't need a keep box is this. The absence of a keep box means I can stop at any time and my space is only better. With every item that goes to its final destination, whether that be the trash bag or the recycling bin, the donatable donate box, or its home in my house, its space, where it belongs in my house, every item that goes there means that this space has less in it than it did before, and this space is decluttered. It's not done, I'm not finished, but it's better than it was before. Better is good. Less equals success. Those are our things that we're focusing on, better and less. That's how we actually really make long-term progress because those are the words that let us get going. They let us start because we know we're only going to have progress. We're never going to end up with a bigger mess, okay? A keep box halts that, okay? If you have a keep box, it stops the process. If you're sticking things in a keep box, you're sticking them in a procrastination station. You're not making that final decision, which means that when you step away, when you get distracted, when life happens, when your energy is gone, then there's a whole lot of stuff left to do. There's a keep box to be dealt with. And even if you really did ask yourself, where would I look for this first? And you really did answer that, you're going to have to go back through that keep box and remember what your answers were to that question, which means you're probably going to have to ask yourself that question again, which is like the opposite of efficiency, right? I know it feels more efficient to have a keep box. Put this in here. It's just too tempting. It's too tempting to not really make a final decision. And it also is a procrastination station because when you step away, you still have a keep box left to deal with. I moved a box that was a keep box from 14 years ago. I used to have a whole lot of keep boxes from old decluttering projects where I was really just stuff shifting and sticking stuff in boxes because I didn't know what to do with it. I had a whole lot of those boxes in my garage that I've been dealing with over the years. And you saw one a couple weeks ago that was, just a box full of random stuff I didn't actually need because it didn't actually have a home in my house. Okay. So it was clutter. When you don't have a keep box, when you don't have keep piles, you can step away at any time. And the space is better than it was before. And you have achieved progress, okay? That is how we have progress and only progress. How we don't put ourselves in a situation where we have more to do later, where we're worse off than we were before. Because it used to be inside of this space, and now it's in a box, and now that box has to be dealt with, okay? So I'm gonna give you 2 little tips in case you are still resisting so hard the keep box, okay? If you are just like, oh, I can't stand the thought of taking one item at a time. It just feels, that thought just makes me want to stop before I even get started. You don't have to do one item at a time. When I ask myself the question, where would I look for this first? And I have an answer, I then look in the space and see, is there anything else that needs to go to the same spot as this, or that needs to go somewhere on the way to the spot where this goes? And I fill up my hands. I don't put it in a box. I only have what I can carry in my hands, and then I can take more than one thing, okay? But I also want to tell you, even for those of you with chronic health issues, that this makes it really difficult. I get it, okay? And you legitimately may not be able to. However, I hear from people so many times with chronic health issues, chronic energy limitations, who tell me this way is actually so much more helpful to them, because even though they're not finishing huge amounts of things, everything that they finish is actually finished. They don't put themselves in a worse situation. And that is incredibly valuable when you have energy limitations. And last of all, I want to make sure you understand, assuming that you do, if you've watched this far, but I'm not talking about a keepsake box. I'm talking about a keep box, just a keep box as part of the decluttering process. You can have a keepsake box. I call it a keepsake box. I know Dawn calls it a memory box. You can have that as a space, a defined space, limited space to put sentimental items in. That's not what we're talking about here, okay? I'm talking about a keep box, putting things in a box because I'm gonna keep these things as part of the decluttering process. If you're gonna keep it, it needs to have a home. If it doesn't have a home, it's still clutter. How do you determine the home? Through the first decluttering question. If I needed this item, where would I look for it first? And then take it there right now. And then you're done with that item. Maybe not with the whole thing, but you're not in a worse situation than you were in before, okay? Just a reminder, you can get the printable decluttering flowchart by going to aslobcomesclean.com/pre-order and filling in the information about your order of Organizing for the Rest of Us, which comes out January 11th. All right, I will talk to y'all next week.